4, 3, 2, 1. All right. All right. Hello and welcome. Hello and welcome. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Thank you so much for being here today, for joining me here today. Today our theme is going to be what to do if ICE shows up at your work. All right, shows up at your job. And so welcome to the Empowered Immigrant Live. I'm your host, Otis Landerholm, and I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. And so welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Whether you're tuning in on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. Remember, the Empowered Immigrant Live is here to train, teach, inspire, and empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives. All right? Today our theme is what to do if ICE shows up at your job. Okay? And so, are you an immigrant, and are you looking for ways or options or strategies that can help you, protect you, and prevent deportation, and fix your immigration legal status, fix your status and your papers so that you can stay in peace, calmly here in the United States, regardless of political changes, etc. If you are in a situation where you're looking for options and strategies, hey, I'd love for my firm to support you, all right? We'd love to take on your case. We'd love to meet with you. We'd love to discuss at least what options and strategies might work and might be the most recommendable in your situation, okay? As I'm going through today's live session, if you have questions, send them my way. I'll do my best to answer them. I'm a little bit under the weather. You might hear it in my voice. I got a little bit of a cold, so I'm drinking some tea as we are going. But so bear with me, and I'll probably keep our live session shorter than usual today, just for that reason. But let's get into it. All right. So the news, of course, it's December of 2024. All right. And Trump won the election last month. It's bad news for immigrants. It's bad news for immigration lawyers. ICE is talking about mass deportation efforts. They're talking about possibly including the military and the National Guard to assist with their deportation efforts. They're also talking about, there are rumors at least, that they might reinstitute ICE raids at work. Okay? ICE raids at work. And so I want to do this presentation to talk about, okay, what do you do if ICE shows up at your work? And I want everybody to be prepared for that. Okay? And so that's my topic for today. As I'm talking about this topic, if you have questions, please feel free to submit your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. Okay? And welcome again to our episode here of the Empowered Immigrant Live. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm a certified specialist in immigration nationality law, and I love being an immigration lawyer. I love fighting for the rights of my clients. Okay, so what should you do if ICE shows up at your work? If ICE shows up at your job? Okay, the first thing to know is do not panic and do not run. Okay, do not run. If you panic and run, then they will treat that as probable cause or reasonable suspicion that can justify their arresting you. Okay? And so it might, a lot of people's initial reaction is, oh, I got to get out of here. And the problem is that if you see ICE and run away, they can use the fact that you're running away from them as evidence against you in your case. Okay, does that make sense? And so the best advice is to not run away. It's actually better to look them straight in the eye. It's actually better to stand there and be like, hey, how can I help you? Right? and just be confident in who you are and show your confidence and not try to hide anything directly. The second thing is everybody needs to know, and you've got to be ready to remain silent. Everybody has the right to remain silent. Every person, not just citizens, right? Every person who's physically in the United States is protected by the United States Constitution's rights to remain silent. Okay? And so, if ICE comes and asks, hey, what's your name? Right? The thing to do is just, you can say this. You can say, I'm sorry, officer, I prefer to remain silent. Respectfully, I prefer to remain silent. You should practice that with me, right? Officer, I prefer to remain silent. That's it. That's all you got to say. Oh, well, where are your papers? Sorry, officer, I prefer to remain silent. Right? Oh, well, where are you from? Sorry, officer, I prefer to remain silent. Are you a U.S. citizen? Sorry, officer, I prefer to remain silent. Okay? Third, if ICE starts to search for anything in your job, around your job, whatever, right? Say loudly, I do not consent to this search. Okay? I do not consent. I do not consent to this search. All right? Every person protected by the United States Constitution, whether you're a citizen or not, has the right, the constitutional right, to be free from unreasonable searches and seizures. So if there's an immigration officer who wants to look in your backpack, or wants to look in your pockets, or wants to pat you down or something like that, you have the right to say, officer, I do not consent to this search. Okay? And if you're a boss, if you're a business owner, and if you're there and ICE is coming into your business, you have the right to say those words too. ICE, officer, how can I help you? Sorry, we do not consent to this search. Oh, I want to see all your employment records. Yeah, send me a warrant. I'll have my attorney look at it. But right now, I do not consent to any search. Right? You got to be ready to say these things. All right? Lastly, fourth, right? If ICE officers start moving towards you and start asking you questions, yes, you're going to remain silent, and you're going to say that. Sorry, officer, I prefer to remain silent. But then you can also ask, officer, am I free to leave? Right? It's like, am I under arrest? Right? Are you formally stopping me? Or am I free to leave our conversation right now? And you have the right to ask that question. And they need to answer you. And if their answer is yes, you're free to leave, then leave. But leave calmly. Okay? And if you're not free to leave, then they'll say, no, I need to ask you more questions. And you could say, hey, ask me all the questions you want, but I respectfully choose to remain silent. Yeah, you can ask me everything you want to ask me, but I am simply going to remain silent to each of those questions. I'll remain silent to each of them. And that's all you got to do, right? Now, in some instances, they'll say, well, I'm sorry, I got to arrest you and take you downtown. And when they do that, give them your hands. Arrest me, officer. Take me downtown. But I want to speak with my lawyer. I want to remain silent. I want to protect my constitutional rights. If they violate your constitutional rights, and if you do it the right way, now you have a case that you can fight against them in your immigration court process. Does that make sense? All right? This is not easy, This is not straightforward. This is not, but this is the best way. This is the best way. It is the correct way to demand that people respect your rights. And you have rights. I don't care where you're from. I don't, like, if you're a human being, and if you're listening to me, the United States Constitution grants you rights. All right? These are like human rights granted to all human beings. And so, you know, I want you to take advantage of them to the maximum. All right? And as we go forward into this next administration, it's going to be really important for everybody to really demand that immigration officers respect their rights. All right? So I wanted to share all of that. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Everybody that's coming in right now, my name is Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. And yeah, you know, if you've got questions, send me your questions. I'll do my best to answer them. We're talking about what to do if ICE shows up at your job. Okay? Here on Instagram, thank you, Princess Fiona. Hello. You say, where are you located? Our firm is located in Oakland, California. Okay? And we handle immigration cases for people throughout the United States, and we even have clients outside the United States. We're working to bring them back. Okay? And then you ask a follow-up question. If I married a boyfriend and are a U.S. citizen, should I petition for him during the Trump presidency? Is this safe? Well, my answer to that is get that going before the Trump presidency so that you have receipt notices and you have a case already going, right? And it's so much safer for him to have a petition as the spouse of a U.S. citizen, right, during the Trump presidency than to not have anything. All right? And I would recommend having a consultation with an attorney first just to make sure that he'll be eligible to utilize that spouse petition. But if he's eligible to use it, I mean, now's the time, right? Now's the time. Let's see here. I'm getting some other questions. Ari, hello. You say, hi, I got my K-1 visa, and I'm already ready with my passport to cross the border. How many days have to do it? How many days do I have to do it? It should say in your visa information, normally when a visa is issued and you have it in your passport, normally you have 180 days to use that passport to enter the U.S., all right? Double check the wording on your passport. Make sure you're entering before the visa expires, okay? But typically it's 180 days. And I would say don't enter through the border, right? If you've got a K-1 visa and it's all in your passport, I mean, I guess it's okay to enter through the border. The border is crazy right now, though. I would say, like if you're talking about the U.S.-Mexico border, enter on an airplane, right? It's a better experience, right? So, and plus you'll be more guaranteed to get the stamp in your passport, to get the I-9 done properly, I-94, excuse me, done properly, so that you can use that. Because after you're in the U.S., you have 90 days to get married and file for your green card, and that's the right way to do it. Okay? Hope that's helpful. All right, and congratulations, Ari, on winning your K-1 visa. All right, Bertha, I see your question here. People need to see this info. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for that. You say, hi, can I apply for TPS for the first time and advanced parole at the same time? Can I apply for TPS for the first time and advanced parole at the same time? Like, I've never done that before, so I'd have to go back and revisit the regulations to see if that's even possible. My belief, though, is that when you're applying for advanced parole under TPS, it has to be approved first, all right? So, and when I say I've never done it before, what I mean is I've never applied for advanced parole along with TPS all at the same time at the beginning, because I think that the advanced parole regulations require you to already have TPS in order to be eligible for advanced parole, which means they could just reject your advanced parole case if your TPS case isn't yet adjudicated. All right? And don't quote me on that, please. I haven't revisited that particular regulation in a while. So I should go back and anyway, if you really want to know that, feel free to give our office a call. We could do a consultation. We could really get to the bottom of that specific question. But unfortunately, Bertha, I think the answer is no. You've got to win TPS first and then apply for advanced parole. I'm going with that, all right here, right now. And please, talk it over with your lawyer or give our office a call, and I can reread those regulations clearly just to see if there's any chance of getting advanced parole earlier while a TPS case is still pending. It's a good question. Okay, folks, thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to call it short, and I'm going to stop our conversation here really briefly. It's shorter than normal, right? Just because I'm not feeling that great. But here's the thing. We're talking about what if ICE shows up at your work. I recommend you have this conversation with your boss, with your employer, all right? If you have a good boss especially, right? They want to have a game plan, right? They want to protect their team. It's in their financial interest. It's in everybody's interest. So maybe ask your boss to watch this video. Have your employer be ready, right, to ask ICE for a warrant. And have your employer be ready to tell immigration officers that he or she does not consent to the search, right? I do not consent to a search of my business data. I do not consent to a search of our information, right? Unless you have a warrant, send me a warrant and let me run it by my attorney. But for right now, I do not consent to this search. Make sure that everybody has a plan, okay? And then the last thing, if you're nervous about immigration enforcement, right, then talk it through with a lawyer. See what options are available for you. See what risks are out there for you. Understand what strategies you might deploy if there's a situation, right? Let's see if you're eligible for asylum or U visas or T visas or VAWA cases or cancellation of removal or adjustment of status or consular processing or more, right? Figure out which option best suits your needs. Talk it through with a lawyer. If you're not clear, sometimes we're not clear about our precise situation, then it's talk to a lawyer and let's request all the records, so that we can get clear and we can know what strategy is going to make the most sense. Okay? A couple more questions just came in. I'll answer these last two, and then I've got to wrap up. So Pinky Sish. All right. Hello and welcome. Thank you. You say expired green card, left the U.S. as a minor. My card expired. I was then issued a B1, B2 visa. Asked if the green card was revoked, and I answered no. I was still issued the B1, B2. What do I present at the port of entry, the B1, B2, or the expired green card? That's a complicated question, and it's one that I shouldn't give legal advice about just over the internet without really understanding what happened. Normally, when you file for a B1, B2 visa after you had a green card, normally they make you relinquish, actually give up, right? It's on N407. It's a form where you've got to relinquish your rights as a lawful permanent resident. And if you went through that process, then you don't have a green card anymore, and they'll make you enter on your B1, B2. But if they didn't make you do that process, then that's really interesting. Then we would want to know, how long really were you outside the country? Because you'd risk, if you entered on your green card and it's expired and they'll ask you how long you've been out, you risk immigration confiscating your green card, giving you a notice to appear in court and arguing that you abandoned your residency. And then you would have to fight that case in immigration court. Sometimes it's worth fighting that case, but you would want to talk that through in detail with a lawyer. Don't just do it like, oh, just don't just do it with me right now on the internet. Okay. But certainly, I'd love to have that conversation with you. I would just invite you to contact our office, schedule a consultation, and let's really look at it so that you get good advice about it. Because if there's a way to preserve your green card, that is so much better. All right, that is so much better than just having a visa. But the question is, are you eligible to do that, and what are the risks, and what are the likelihood that they'll put you in immigration court proceedings? All right, I hope that's helpful. Hope that's useful. Lise Ray, I see you here. You're saying thank you for all the information you're providing. Really helpful. Thank you very much. Right? Thank you very much for saying that. Thank you very much for being here. Okay. All right, you guys. Oh, let's see. Adela. All right. You say I got approved my permit. How soon can they send it? That's a great question. It depends on several different factors. Keep checking your mail, though, because I've received approval notices and got the work permit the next day. All right? But in some categories, it does take longer, right? So anyway, but congrats on getting it approved. That's fantastic. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate each of you. My name's Otis Landerholm. I'm the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. I almost forgot a couple of small details, all right? I've got an announcement for current clients of our firm. So if you're a current client of my law firm, Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., just be aware, I'm going to host, and I'm going to invite you, and you'll see invitations to this. I'm going to host a New Year, New You workshop for our clients on January 2nd at 3 p.m. And we'll send information out about it, all right? And we'd love you to join, all right? Because in my opinion, there's no reason why 2025 can't be a great year for each and every one of you. In our personal lives, like we can take difficult times, all right? And we can get going. We can use difficult times as fuel to our fire to get going on our personal life, to challenge that difficulty and to turn it into an opportunity for growth for each of us, right? And so I want to share that with our clients on January 2nd, and we'll do that day. My empowerment tip for everybody is, please do not dwell on negativity and on pessimism. There's so much of it in our world, okay? And instead, keep your eyes open, all right? Keep your eyes open for optimism and possibility and connection and joy and love and spirit and soul and life. Because the good is still out there. All of that good, it does still exist. We just got to keep our eyes open for it. Okay? And yeah, we might be entering a dark time when it comes to immigration law and immigration policy. Let's stick together, all right? Let's stick together and let's still look for the good in ourselves and in others, because it does still exist, I promise you. Okay? Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. My name's Otis Landerholm, Landerholm Immigration A.P.C., where we fight for your American dream. Make it a great day. We'll see you next time on our next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. If this was useful, if this was helpful, please subscribe to our channel. Please give us a thumbs up or a heart or whatever. And if you really want to follow our content, go to our channel in YouTube, Landerholm Immigration in YouTube, and subscribe to our channel there. We'd love you to follow us. Okay? So thank you all so much. Make it a great day. Take care.